located in the lobby next to the elevators. Second staircase through the door behind the dais on the right, under the exit sign. If necessary, NJ Transit Police will administer CPR and use the defibrillator located near the elevator. Fire extinguishers are located in the front and back of this room. Please do not approach the dais. Documents can be presented to staff at the entrance of the boardroom. Please follow the directions of the NJ Transit Police and staff. Thank you, and have a safe day.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag.
I will now take roll call. Do we have an echo? We have an echo in the boardroom.
Is anyone else having trouble with the audio?
Are you not hearing us on the remote participants? Please stand by. Board members, can you hear me?
It's breaking in and out.
It's breaking in and out. We're having some audio issues in the room. Is it getting any better?
Yes.
No. Yes? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Let me try to take roll call. Board Member Abrantes?
Here.
Board Member Rocco? Board Member Medina?
Here.
Board Member Nara? Oh, Board Member Nara is on the way. She will be arriving shortly. Board Member Thomas?
Here.
Board Member Weiss?
Here.
Board Member Caniff? Board Member Cruz?
Here.
Vice Chair Carson?
Here.
Chair O'Connor?
Here.
For the record, Board Members Abrantes, Cruz, Medina, Thomas, and Weiss are participating remotely. Board Member Brown is absent. This is a meeting of the New Jersey Transit Corporation and its affiliates and subsidiaries. Adequate notice has been provided in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act and NJ Transit's enabling legislation. Notice was filed on November 7th, 2024 with the Secretary of State and sent to newspapers of general distribution, posted in the main entrance of NJ Transit's headquarters, published on the corporation's website, and sent to each individual agency and organization that requested such notice.
May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the October 10th, 2024 board meetings?
So moved.
May I have a second? Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed?
Motion carried.
President and CEO Corbett will present the President and CEO's monthly report.
Members of the board and to all members of the public joining us in person or online. To begin this evening, we have an important service notice to share regarding upcoming PATH station closure. Last week, the Port Authority announced that beginning January 30th and continuing through February 25th, the Hoboken PATH station will be closing to allow for track improvements and station rehabilitation. During the nearly month-long station closure, NJ Transit service to and from Hoboken Terminal will operate as scheduled with some enhancements to our service on the 126 bus route as well as the Hudson Bergen Light Rail. However, NJ Transit Bus and Light Rail is unable to fully accommodate all the anticipated daily Hoboken PATH ridership. In that case, customers can expect potential delays, congestion, and/or crowding conditions around Hoboken Terminal. PATH is offering a variety of travel alternatives to their customers, including ferry service from Hoboken, shuttle buses between Hoboken, Newport, and Exchange Place PATH stations, and enhanced PATH service from Newport and Exchange Place. We strongly encourage Hoboken PATH train customers to view all alternate travel options provided by PATH during this period, which can be found by visiting their website at panyj.gov. I'd now like to turn to service updates for recent events at MetLife Stadium. Since our last board meeting, NJ Transit has provided seamless service for one Jets game and one Giants game, as well as the Navy-Notre Dame game on October 26th. While that game didn't quite top 2021's Army-Navy game, which broke the stadium's college football attendance record with 82,282 fans, it certainly set the tone for the return of the Army-Navy game at MetLife Stadium next year in 2026, or the next game in 2026. And as many of you know, I am a bit partial to Navy, and I was very disappointed at the outcome of the game, but I consider it at least a win for New Jersey Transit customers and fans for both teams. And speaking of our military, this past Monday, NJ Transit was proud to honor the brave men and women who have served or are currently serving in the U.S. Armed Forces with complimentary rides throughout our system on Veterans Day. And as an aside, for the internal notes that message I sent around to the staff, apologize for anyone who's admitting to being a Marine, to admitting to put in the comment to wishing them a happy birthday on the 10th. As NJ Transit continues to deliver a high-quality customer experience for those attending events at MetLife Stadium, we are also working to engage our bus customers and optimize bus service throughout Hudson County. Toward that end, last month we launched a digital survey for our New Bus Hudson Bus Redesign Initiative, available at njtransit.com/newbushudson-survey, which will inform our efforts to best align service with demand on the 32 bus lines that serve Hudson County. In addition to this survey, NJ Transit is working closely with local Hudson County officials who are eager to maximize smart growth in the county and to take advantage of the new development and employment patterns. On the topic of meeting with elected officials, by the way, tomorrow I will also be meeting with state officials in Trenton to testify before the Assembly Transportation and Independent Authorities Committee. I will be joined by Amtrak CEO Stephen Gardner and will be testifying in my role both as President and CEO of NJ Transit, as well as co-chair of the Northeast Corridor Commission. Stephen and I will be sharing some of the progress we've made since implementing our joint plan in late June, as well as Amtrak's need for the necessary funding for them to accelerate the work to replace and modernize the Northeast Corridor infrastructure between Trenton and New York. It is critical that they prioritize the most vulnerable infrastructure to restore the reliability on the Northeast Corridor that our customers expect and deserve. NJ Transit remains 100% committed to continuing to support Amtrak's effort to address the many infrastructure challenges along the corridor, which urgently require attention after decades of underinvestment. To spotlight these challenges firsthand, last month I was joined by members of New Jersey's congressional delegation for a rail tour of the Northeast Corridor between New Brunswick and New York. It was hosted by Amtrak CEO Stephen Gardner and attended by 5 members of New Jersey's congressional delegation, Congress members Frank Pallone, Josh Gottheimer, Andy Kim, Rob Menendez, and Mikey Sherrill. The tour highlighted the urgent need for upgrades and funding along this critical corridor and all the work NJ Transit and Amtrak are undertaking together to modernize the corridor. While we continue advocating for essential infrastructure improvements along the corridor, we're also making strides to enhance our stations and surrounding communities with new federal funding. I'm pleased to share that NJ Transit has been selected to receive $380,000 in federal funds to create a transit-oriented development master plan around our Patterson station. This grant will support a comprehensive study to how the station can better serve residents and visitors by improving multimodal transit connections and increasing diverse residential and commercial development in the area. The study is one of only 11 awarded nationwide through the FTA's pilot program for TOD planning, made possible by the bipartisan infrastructure law. Patterson Station is a key stop on our main Bergen line and is located in New Jersey's third largest city, serving a significant commuter base with strong potential for future growth. Moving on to our agenda, this evening our board will consider approval of a contract for a new operator of our Hudson Bergen Light Rail system. The contract replaces the HBLR's original design, build, operate, maintain, or DBOM contract from 2000. The new contract with ACI Herzog Joint Venture includes operating of the light rail system and the maintenance of the light rail vehicles in the right-of-way. Through this partnership, NJ Transit is focused on maintaining the high standard of service our HBLR customers have come to expect while supporting the continued growth and connectivity of Hudson County. As part of our, on the infrastructure side, as part of our continued investments in infrastructure and improving service quality, we recently had the pleasure of hosting Governor Murphy at our Meadows Maintenance Complex in Kearney to preview the next generation multi-level rail cars that are coming to New Jersey Transit. On October 30th, The governor and I, along with Congressman Rob Menendez, Assemblyman Clint Calabrese, and FTA Administrator Mike Collada, Regional Administrator Mike Collada, previewed a new multi-level 3 rail car that has joined 3 others at the FRA facility in Pueblo, Colorado, now for high-speed performance and qualification testing before being shipped back to NJ Transit for commissioning. We expect them to begin entering passenger revenue service sometime by the middle of next year. We're planning to have the original 113 rail cars that we purchased in 2018 in service by 2026, at which time most of the 40-plus-year-old Aero 3 cars will be retired. The 25 additional cars that we purchased in 2022 are expected to be in service in mid to late 2027, and the remaining 36 additional cars approved for purchase by our board this past July are expected to be in service by the end of 2028. And provided the capital funding remains available, we anticipate exercising an option to purchase up to an additional 100 new multi-levels in 2025 to start replacing the aging Comet 2s and Comet 4s, which are approaching the end of their useful life. These new rail cars feature many customer-focused amenities, including USB charging ports to the seats, new onboard information displays, significantly enhancing the overall customer experience. Beyond providing additional seating capacity and a far more comfortable ride, they will also dramatically improve our mean distance between failure, or MDBF, which will be approximately 400,000 miles, which is 20 times greater than the Aero 3s, which are they are replacing, which are approximately 20,000 miles. Aligned with the expansion and modernization of our rail infrastructure, NJ Transit is also eagerly awaiting the arrival of the Portal North Bridge 3 main arch spans, the remaining part of the bridge to be until it is completed structurally, each weighing approximately 2,500 tons and measuring about 400 feet long and 80 feet tall. The first arch is scheduled to depart the Port of Coymans, New York, on the Hudson below Albany next week and will be floated in by barge to the Portal North Bridge construction site. The other 2 arches will make the journey by barge over the next 2 months, and when the third arch is secured in place in early February, the bridge will be effectively structurally complete. That will allow Amtrak approximately 1 year to complete the necessary catenary, signal, and rail work that needs to be done until the bridge can enter revenue service, and the bridge does indeed remain on schedule to open its first track in 2026. And I would point out, with the right support from Amtrak, not only do we expect it will come on time, we believe it will come in under budget. And in line with our efforts to modernize transit infrastructure across New Jersey, we also continue to advance our Walter Rand Transportation Center improvement, a project that was generously funded by Governor Murphy's $250 million commitment. And tomorrow, NJ Transit will host, a virtual public information center on the Walter Rand Transportation Center improvement project from 3 to 4 p.m., as well as an in-person session from 6 to 7:30 p.m. at Cooper Medical School in Camden. These sessions will provide an overview of the project, which aims to expand and modernize the center to better serve Camden and the surrounding region, and will allow the public to share feedback. More information for those who are interested and registration are available at njtransit.com/WRTC. And in conclusion, finally, to ensure that we keep meeting our needs of our customers, we have once again launched our biannual customer satisfaction survey, which is available at njtransit.com/survey. And this fall's customer satisfaction survey, which launched on October 30th and will run throughout November, gives our customers an opportunity to share valuable feedback on their experiences with NJ Transit service. And these survey insights really do help us prioritize improvements and track our progress in key service areas, all to continue improving the customer experience. And with that, Chair, I conclude my remarks and turn the floor back to you.
Thank you, Kevin. Now, Anna Marie Gonella Rosado will present the Advisory Committee report.
Thank you. Good evening, Chairman O'Connor, Vice Chair Carson, board members, and staff. The North and South Passenger Advisory Committees met virtually on October 25th. We were given an update on the River Line from Lila Wilkins, Director of Light Rail Operations and Business Administrator. We welcomed the new customer advocate, Frank Lohman, who discussed his background and his plans. Barbara Lazara, Senior Director, Government and Committee Relations, updated the PACs on the Walter Rand Transportation Improvement Project. And as President and CEO Corbett mentioned, a public information centers hearing on the preliminary design concepts tomorrow, November the 14th. For more information, go to New Jersey Transit website. Transit rolled out its seasonal use of 2 aqua track machines to clear and remove leaves from the rails. On November 11th, Transit salutes all active and retired military personnel on Veterans Day with complimentary rides on all bus, rail, and light rails. We were given an update on the passage of Bills A2607 and S360, authorizing taxi cabs, limousines, and transportation network companies to provide paratransit for a two-year period. The bills were signed into law by the governor on October the 4th. Our next virtual meeting will be December 6th. That concludes my report, Chairman O'Connor.
Thank you, Anna Marie. Are there any comments from the public?
There are 4 in-person speakers and 2 pre-registered telephone speakers. Speaker, in order to give everyone an opportunity to be heard, comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Priority access will be given to pre-registered in-person speakers, followed by any additional in-person speakers. We will then take comments from pre-registered telephone speakers, followed by any additional telephone participants who are queued to speak. Those participating by telephone, if you've not already done so, please press star 1 on your telephone keypad to enter the queue to speak. You will hear a brief tone to indicate you have successfully entered the queue. The first speaker is Sally Jane Gellert, followed by David Peter Allen.
Good evening. I'm Sally Jane Gellert, chairperson of ScatterTech. We had a meeting last month that was different from usual. We had a training session presented by a consultant from Cape May County. Talked a lot about the history of the organization and how to, move forward together. And we're looking forward to the 4 proposed members going through the process and getting approved to fill our seats, and looking forward to another good year. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is David Peter Allen, followed by Chris Neidenberg.
Good evening. I'm David Peter Allen. Many of you are familiar with my credentials, but I'm making this statement in a personal capacity, which includes my situation as a non-motorist who depends on New Jersey Transit for my mobility in and near New Jersey. Tonight I come before you to report an incident of disregard by this agency for my mobility, specifically whether or not I would be allowed to rely on its representations that I would be able to get to an annual event at a location where buses run very infrequently. It was an annual event at Lincoln Park on the 871 bus route in Morris County on September 28th. That bus runs only 4 times on Saturdays between Willowbrook and the Morristown train station, so there is no reason to expect that motorists would use it. Because of New Jersey Transit's indifference, I barely missed the 871 bus at Willowbrook. I had to report the incident, case number 01669681, twice, and I never received a reply with any substantive or other useful information whatsoever. I have submitted a copy of my original report. In short, I waited at Bloomfield for the number 11 bus that would have gotten me to Willowbrook in plenty of time for the 12 noon departure of the 871. It never came. Customer service agents could not find it. No bus came until the number 28, which was due at Willowbrook at 11:55. I spent much of that run on the phone with another agent, reminding him of a policy that once enabled me to make a connection that prevented me from being stranded. This time, the agent spent more time giving me excuses that I knew to be false than it would have taken to make a call to a dispatcher to hold the number 871 bus so I could have made the connection. As I had feared, my bus got to Willowbrook between 1 and 2 minutes after it had left. I had missed much of the event that day, a result that could easily have been prevented. I know no individual who depends on New Jersey Transit for mobility has ever sat on its governing board or held a management position of extensive authority. There are ongoing efforts to suppress ScatterTech, the Senior Citizens and Disabled Residents Transportation Advisory Committee, most of whose members are non-motorists. The impending closure of the Kingsland Station will leave non-motorists in the area without a connection to the number 76 bus to and from Newark, but with a long walk to the Lyndhurst Station. We non-motorists, whatever the reason for our status, are ignored to the extent that feels like reckless disregard for our mobility. Sadly, all I can do now is ask if any of you who have the authority to improve mobility for us is willing to take the initiative to start doing that. I would like to add that
Thank you. Next is Chris Neidenberg, followed by Vito Havila.
Yes, Chris Neidenberg from Passaic, member of the Lackawanna Coalition, but I'm speaking myself, not for the organization. I just have two brief points. Kingsland Station, I was at that meeting in Lyndhurst, and there was overwhelming opposition to closing it. The only thing I wish you would do is if there's any narrative that you can provide that responds to the concerns that were raised at that meeting, but I very much doubt it. And Mr. Corbett, if you're so proud of this achievement, I think it should have been mentioned in your report, okay? And and also I would say, and I don't know, I guess Board Member Nara hasn't come yet, but there were two members that were there, and unless they vote no, I think that they should give their opinions on this matter. If they support it, why? Okay, that's one thing. And the second thing, I was debating whether to bring this up because I've been benefiting from it, but I noticed it, and I want to thank you in a way. I've saved like $16 during October from fare boxes that are not working. They're either taped over or the operator will tell you he's not taking money for whatever the reason. That the point is that I would make is hopefully the situation will improve for the revenue perspective, although I'll take the savings. But what I'm saying is that if you are going to have a cavalier attitude about collecting revenue, why did you have to have the fare increase in the first place? You went through a big thing about a fare increase, and you can't even collect on it because of all these fare box failures. So I'm wondering if it was really necessary. So I will continue taking the savings, but I hope that, you can rectify the situation, but if not, fine. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. The next speaker is Vito Havrilla, followed by the telephone speakers.
Hello, I'm Vito Havrilla, a member of the Lackawanna Coalition. I am the Vice Chair and the Legislative Director. The Lackawanna Coalition is an independent organization advocating for better transit. We meet in Melbourne Town Hall, fourth Monday of every month, 6:45 p.m. Our website is lackawannacoalition.org, and we also put out the railgram. If you'd like a copy, see me. So I'll read our board statement. So action items 2411-63 and 2411-64, financial transparency. For both these projects, we were given no background information on current costs, no information on losing bids, provide context, no year-end breakdown of expenses, even as totals, let alone information on the split among operations, maintenance of way, and vehicle maintenance each year. In addition, for item 2411-63, funding will not come exclusively from the FRA and TTF. Operation costs, including in this item, come from New Jersey Transit operations budget. Action item 2411-65, Kingsland Station. We're frustrated. You held public hearings, though with little notice. Surprisingly, few riders were aware of your plans when we stopped by before the hearings on the morning of August 14th. Even so, there were 60 or more people who turned out a relatively large number, almost all local residents. those who will have a longer drive or perhaps more frequently a longer walk to New Lyndhurst Station where connection in number 76 bus is impossible. Also, with new apartments slated to be built directly across the street, this closure makes those apartments less desirable for commuters who now will have to walk about 3/4 of a mile to get a train station instead of simply walking across the street. One of your stated reasons for closing the station is saving 2 minutes of travel time for mainline riders. We'll take you at your word, and we'll be watching each mainline train, ensure that those riders do get, in fact, 2 minutes extra time. I wonder how many will be willing to arrive 2 minutes later so their neighbors could be spared a 3/4 mile walk. Expiration dates revisited. We are opposed to adding expiration dates to transit tickets when the proposal was first made. As often the case, New Jersey Transit went ahead with their plan regardless of public objection. So 4 months later, we know that of at least 3 people who purchased bus/light rail tickets with expiration date on the same or next day. In one case, 3 tickets were purchased on November 7th, 2 expired that same day, and the third had the correct expiration date of December 6th. Same machine, same time of purchase, completely different dates. Lastly, keep Newark Penn Station's Raymond Boulevard entrance open. We object to the overnight closure of Newark Penn Station Raymond Boulevard entrance for a concourse on Newark Penn closing earlier, having to walk around the station to get from one end to the other, uncomfortable and inclement weather. Takes longer, it may even be unsafe, and emergency locked doors is extremely unsafe. This is also an accessibility issue. It will be hard for individuals with disabilities to make connections to more able fellow passengers. Number of buses run until 1:30 a.m., and number 62 runs around the clock. Thank you.
Thank you. Operator, please open the floor to public comments by telephone participants.
Certainly. As a reminder, if you have not already done so, please press *1 on your telephone keypad to enter the queue to speak. You will hear a brief tone to indicate you have successfully entered the queue. Each speaker will be given 3 minutes for their public comment. A warning will be provided with 1 minute remaining, and again with 15 seconds remaining. There are 3 speakers in the queue. The first public comment is coming from Jason Anthony. Jason, your line is live and your time will now begin.
Good evening, New Jersey Transit Corporation Board members, especially to Kevin Stevens Boarded. After that fail that you guys have with the audio, I think it's very clear that you guys should consider letting everybody to use either Zoom or Microsoft Teams, because that is what the Metropolitan Transportation Authority, better known as the MTA, that's your counterpart in the East North South Hudson, use this COVID-19, because it is very clear that you guys are stuck in the 20th century. Let me tell you something, folks. It is very clear that you guys are stuck in the 20th century. The Metropolitan Transportation Authority, better known as the MTA, has reached the 21st century. Kevin Stephen Corbett, are you ignoring those passengers, those commuters that use New York Penn Station? Because it is very clear that you are more focused on New Jersey than those like myself that live within the confines of New York State, which by the fact pay more to use your system, which we pay 50% more this year, which have to pay 3% more starting next year, which, by the way, to navigate Penn Station,
1 minute remaining.
we have to navigate through a hell. And those people from ScatterTech, there's a YouTube video that I did which shows the living hell which New Yorkers have to navigate to get an elevator at Penn Station. And I hope that board member Shanti Nara use public transit. If not, that's an epic failure. And newsflash, Governor Kathy Hochul is proposing congestion pricing. That shows how New Yorkers work. And I hope that you guys in New
15
Jersey
seconds remaining.
resolves once again the dysfunction between Newark and Trenton. We hope that in 2025, you guys fix that dysfunction. So I will see you guys in December.
Thank you. The next public comment will be from Andy Weiss. Andy, your line is live and your time will now begin.
Good evening. When is NJ Transit going to fix the NJ Transit app that reports fake departures of buses and trains? Many NJ Transit riders, including myself, have seen many ghost buses and ghost train departures on the NJ Transit app for years. The ghost buses and trains have been going on for years. The NJ Transit app shows the bus or train as departed when they never departed. Are these false bus and train departures reported on the official NJ Transit on-time stats announced at monthly board meetings? NJ Transit riders have reported these ghost bus and train departures on the NJ Transit app to customer service for years, and nothing was fixed. This is why we have a customer advocate, because NJ Transit customer service allows the same problems to continue for years. NJ Transit does not have a, quote, robust customer service department because they allow the same problems to continue for years and years. NJ Transit customer service frustrates riders because they ignore riders and lack feedback and follow-up to riders. This is why the legislature and Governor Murphy signed a law to create a customer advocate position, because NJ Transit customer service does not follow up and allows the same problems to continue for years. Why is the NJ Transit Board not giving the new customer advocate more staff to help them? The new customer advocate needs more staff because he cannot handle a third world transit system like NJ Transit by himself. This is why an excellent bill is moving in the legislature to create a customer advocate office.
1 minute remaining.
The NJ Transit Board is not giving their full effort to help the new customer advocate because he needs more staff. We need a customer advocate office. Last issue for the board. Is the bus rapid transit lanes to the Meadowlands going to be permanent or just temporary for the World Cup? The Meadowlands bus rapid transit lanes need to be permanent. Can the board chair or someone else on the board let us know if the Meadowlands bus lane is going to be permanent or temporary for the World Cup? We need permanent bus lanes to the Meadowlands to shop at American Dream Mall and visit events at the racetrack and MetLife Stadium. Thank you.
Thank you. The next public comment will be from Adam Reich. Adam, your line is live and your time will now begin.
Good evening. First of all, with regard to the Kingsland station, again, it doesn't seem like there's much public support for this. Transit is very attractive and robust when it's something you can walk to easily and get from point A to point B. I think it's imperative that the agency hit the pause button on the closure of Kingsland Station. Why not wait 6 months to a year, see what the ridership patterns look like after you open the new Lyndhurst station? See if perhaps there's a drawdown that maybe justifies Kingsland instead of just closing it willy-nilly before you know what's actually going to happen with ridership there. Again, for a lot of people, walkability is critical. I understand there would be challenges making Kingsland Station accessible, but still a station that's accessible to some is better than a station that's accessible to none. I would further stress, I'm dismayed that one of the items that isn't reported on either in these general meetings or in the committee meetings is changes in station condition, particularly at Northeast Corridor stations, including Metro Park and Princeton Junction. Recently, doors were removed from passenger shelters. My understanding is that this has to do with issues with unhoused people using these passenger shelters for their own purposes. I fail to see why we can't find an alternative. We're entering the colder winter months. If you're somebody who's elderly or susceptible to the cold, not having a shelter with doors that close is a huge problem, especially if the heaters aren't working, as I understand Princeton Junction may not be. I must ask, why isn't the plan to basically deploy more resource officers or increase patrols at these shelters, make it so that you convince anyone occupying these passenger shelters to take up a social service instead of occupying that, and instead of leaving passengers paying higher fares out in the cold? And beyond this, I would just stress, in general, there needs to be a greater quality of information that goes into board operations and customer committee reports. I challenge anybody on the board to explain to me why the agenda would feature screenshots of social media posts, but says nothing about areas of customer complaints and what you're doing about it. I'm going to throw this challenge at the board member Carson. I'm a rail rider. Ostensibly, you hold the seat that represents rail riders. Don't you think that complaints and what you're doing to remedy them should be something featured in these reports? Similarly, it's imperative that you go back to the practice of providing a more detailed breakdown of mean distance between failure by equipment type. You used to publish this data in the monthly reports. It noticeably started disappearing as mean distance between failures started dipping. It's imperative that we get the same level of transparency we used to, and it's important specifically that we address what's actually going to be done to improvement. The arrows aren't going to be replaced for a few months to start and for a few years to finish. What are you going to do in the meantime? Simply folding our hands and blaming the old equipment isn't going to fix anything, and the new equipment is not an overnight solution. So please ensure that this is directly addressed in the written materials for the Operations and Customer Service Committee meeting, if not in the President and CEO's full report. Again, board members, especially those of you who represent riders with your seats, Carson and Weiss, namely.
Thank you. And there were no other public comments at this time.
Thank you, public speakers. I want to note for the record, Board Member Naro joined the meeting. Are there any board member comments? Okay.
Board Member Cruz will present the Operations and Customer Service Committee report.
Thank you, Chair. The Operations and Customer Service Committee received an update on trends, analysis, and actions for rail, bus, light rail, and access link. The committee also received an update on the cost of service. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Board Member Marocco will present the Administration Committee report.
The Administration Committee received a financial update. This included a summary of operating results compared to previous year's comparable period and fiscal year 25 budget, 12-month fare box revenue compared to pre-COVID, major balance sheet items, and federal COVID-19 relief grant drawdown summary. Additional information was provided as part of the agenda materials, including the cost of service key performance indicators, 12-month fare box recovery, history of vacancy, attritions and hires, ridership and revenue, and a monthly budget to actual comparison for September 2024. The committee also received updates from Human Resources and Equal Employment Opportunity and Affirmative Action. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Board Member Wise will present the Capital Planning, Policy, and Privatization Committee report.
The Capital Planning, Policy, and Privatization Committee reviewed the board items for the Hudsonburg and Light Rail HBLR operations and maintenance contract and the closure of Kingsland Station. That concludes my report.
Thank you. President and CEO Corbett will present the action items.
Thank you, Board.
Good. General Manager, Bus Operations, present Board Item 2411-63. Mike?
Thank you, President Corbett. We are presenting for approval item 2411-63, Hudsonburg and Light Rail Operations and Maintenance Contract. Authorization is requested to enter into a contract with ACI Herzog, joint venture of Boston, Massachusetts, to provide transition, operations, and maintenance services for New Jersey Transit's Hudsonburg and Light Rail in the amount not to exceed $1,567,057,398.99, subject to the availability of funds. We ask for your approval of item 2411-63.
May I have a motion to approve Board Item 2411-63?
Second.
Any discussion? Megan, please take a roll call vote.
Roll call vote. Board Member Brontes?
Yes.
Board Member Marocco?
Yes.
Board Member Medina?
Yes.
Board Member Nara?
Yes.
Board Member Weiss?
Yes.
Board Member Keeneth? Yes. Board Member Cruz?
Yes.
Vice Chair Carson?
Yes.
Chair O'Connor?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Great, thank you. I'd now like to introduce Jim Sincaglia, Senior Vice President and General Manager, Rail Operations, to present Board Item 2411-64. Jim?
Thank you, President Corbett. We are presenting for approval item 2411-64, Maintenance, Operations, and Management Services of the East End Concourse and New York Penn Station. Authorization is requested to enter into a contract with Core Facility Services, LLC of New York, New York for the New York Penn Station Maintenance, Operations, and Management Services of the East End Concourse at New York Penn Station and New Jersey Transit's rest facility located on the second floor of 242 West 30th Street, New York, New York, in the amount of $38,220,263.49, plus 5% for contingencies, subject to the availability of funds. We ask for approval of item 2411-64.
May I have a motion to approve Board Item 2411-64? May I have a second?
So moved.
Any discussion? Megan, please take a roll call vote.
Roll call vote. Board Member Brontes?
Yes.
Board Member Morocco? Board Member Medina?
Yes.
Board Member Nara? Board Member Weiss?
Yes.
Board Member Kena? Board Member Cruz?
Yes.
Vice Chair Carson?
Yes.
Chair O'Connor?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Great, thank you. I'd now like to introduce Rich Schaefer, Senior Vice President, Capital Programs, to present Board Item 2411-65. Rich?
Thank you, CEO Corbett. We are presenting for approval item 2411-65, closure of Kingsland Rail Station. Authorization is requested to take whatever actions are necessary to close the Kingsland Station to the public upon the opening of the new Lyndhurst Station. We ask for your approval of item 2411-65.
May I have a motion to approve Board Item 2411-65? May I have a second? Any discussion? Megan, please take a roll call vote.
Roll call vote. Board Member Brontes?
Yes.
Board Member Morocco? Board Member Medina?
Yes.
Board Member Nara? Board Member Weiss?
Yes.
Board Member Kena? Board Member Cruz?
Yes.
Vice Chair Carson?
Yes.
Chair O'Connor?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Great, thank you. I'd now like to introduce Jackie Jones, Controller, to present the Board Item 2411-66 regarding audited financial statements. Jackie?
Thank you, President Corbett. We are presenting for approval item number 2411-66, recommendation to approve the audited financial statements for the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2024. Acceptance and approval of NJ Transit's audited financial statements for the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2024 is requested. We ask for your approval of item number 2411-66.
May I have a motion to approve Board Item 2411-66? May I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Megan, please take a roll call vote.
Roll call vote. Board Member Brontes?
Yes.
Board Member Morocco? Board Member Medina?
Yes.
Board Member Nara? Board Member Weiss?
Yes.
Board Member Kena? Board Member Cruz?
Yes.
Vice Chair Carson?
Yes.
Chair O'Connor?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Before we adjourn to executive session, I want to let the public know we will return to the adjourned meeting, but no further action will be conducted. I have a motion to enter into executive session to discuss personnel matters, contract negotiations, and status of pending and anticipated litigations, and matters falling within the attorney-client privilege, including but not limited to the personal injury claim of Domenico Magliano. May I have a motion? May I have a second? Any discussion? Megan, please take a roll call vote.
Roll call vote. Board Member Brontes?
Yes.
Board Member Morocco? Board Member Medina?
Yes.
Board Member Nara? Board Member Weiss?
Yes.
Board Member Kena? Board Member Cruz?
Yes.
Vice Chair Carson?
Yes.
Chair O'Connor?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. The executive session will now be initiated. Please note, members of the public audience,
I hereby reconvene the open session board meetings.
I will now take roll call. Board Member Brantis?
Here.
Board Member Morocco?
Here.
Board Member Nara?
Here.
Board Member Weiss?
Here.
Board Member Caniff?
Here.
Board Member Cruz?
Here.
Vice Chair Carson?
Here.
Chair O'Connor.
Here. Since there is no further business, may I have a motion to adjourn the meeting? May I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried, meeting adjourned.
All right.
Have a great evening.